Oh, yeah. Is it hard? Yeah, it's small. I did the crab one. Yeah, it took me a while. I showed you the crab figure. So it was a lot of sand. It was not easy.
Actually, it's already not easy task.
It keeps you sharp though, right?
Well,
Did you have a nice holiday?
yeah, it was quiet, you know.
How's Suzanne doing?
Yeah, good. She's doing good. Every day is something. When you retire, busier than ever. It's going to be a raffle. Okay, you want it? No, I'll buy a ticket or two.
So as you see in new states, so we're gonna have a new one.
I don't think $40,000, but I saw that on that show. It's nice.
I like all the shades of
I don't know who did that, but it's still a good.
I really.
Please stand for the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing in honor of those serving in the military. Great, thank you. Just like to welcome everyone here tonight. Happy New Year to everyone. Thank you for coming. Make a motion to approve the previous board minutes of December 1st, 2025. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor? Aye. Suffolk County Police, would you like to come up, please? Sure. Thank you for coming, officer.
Thank you for having me. Officer Duran, I work in the 3rd Precinct. For tonight, I'm covering the area that covers Village of Brightwaters. Anybody have any questions? Nothing really happened last month. There was 3 arrests. They're not reoccurring instances. They're incidences that just happen to take place in the village. Operator intoxicated in an accident. Somebody fleeing from the 1st Precinct ended up getting caught here, and then there was a domestic assault, but those were all cleared out with arrest. I don't know if you guys have any questions for me as far as anything going on.
Yeah, so is that the motor vehicle theft offense? That's a car coming
So,
into-
yeah, so that vehicle was stolen out of the 115 in the NYPD. Officers in the 1st Precinct had it involved in the motor vehicle accident. I guess he took off, and then an officer ended up pursuing him. He ends up in the Village of Brightwaters, and then he takes off on foot, and he was apprehended.
Nice.
So,
Yeah, I do have a question. So
Yes.
December 7th, 8:30 at night, 476 Lombardi Boulevard. You're not, I'm guessing you're not going to have it there.
yeah, no, I don't see it here.
You had 2 what appeared to be drugged out people trying to break into the house, literally across the street from it. Like, people were sitting on the couch, they pop up to people trying to push their door. They get up, they end up having an altercation with the gentleman because I came outside. I was on the front yard with them. The wife called 911, told them, somebody tried to break in our house. They're out in the front yard with my husband and my neighbor, fighting, whatever. Said, all right, hold tight, police will come. About 10 minutes later, maybe closer to 20, PD showed up. They took information quick, went out, they picked the guys up. I know they did because I saw them.
Okay.
No contact was made with the homeowner whose house was attempted break-in. And I ended up calling for a little while. I finally got some information about a week later that that nothing was done. And they said that they were psych patients. They were brought back to their home, and I said, well, why were they not arrested for, attempted break-in? And I was told that we don't arrest psych patients.
So
Were you working for that by any chance?
what was the time again? I'm sorry.
I was,
8:30.
yeah, 8:30 at night at December 7th.
I have to check the schedule just because.
Well, if you don't know this, I mean, I would think.
We alternate. I wouldn't notice the call.
I'm just wondering if there's any issue.
So you're the first one to talk about that when I didn't get told anything about that incident prior to coming to this meeting. I can have somebody at the precinct reach out to you.
That would be great.
As to why they weren't arrested. If the officer that responded saw no criminality, as far as maybe that's the reason why they didn't end up getting arrested. But I don't want to speak too much on it. Just 'cause I didn't respond at
You
all.
weren't there. That's fine.
But yeah.
So what we consider, if somebody came to my door and tried to break my door in, and I told you guys and said, this guy tried to break in my house, isn't that attempted burglary? Isn't that trespassing?
So here's the
Isn't
thing.
that property damage? I mean, there's three things right there.
So was there actually property that was damaged?
No, they just tried to push the door in, and they happened to be sitting on their couch and pop up, and then like I said, they're having literally there was a verbal altercation on the front yard, and then we waited with them, and then we ended up pushing them down the block because we wanted them off our block, and then I know you guys picked them up because I ended up getting in my car and calling the dispatcher and explaining that people were walking north on the southbound side of Fifth Avenue, walking in the middle of the street. I'm like, if you don't pick these people up now, they're gonna get killed.
To answer your question, here's the thing, right? Is there intent to break in and commit, a crime within for a burglary?
Well, because you're not the judge here.
No, I know, but
You're the person that enforces my property for somebody that comes in and is trying to do bad thing. You shouldn't be arresting them regardless, and then let the courts figure it out. If they get released again, they get released again. This is the problem. It's like we've had a lot of incidents where something has been said. I was part of one, and the cops weren't going to do anything, and they said, well, if you don't, we're going to go do it. So then they got involved with somebody who was stealing stuff by the library a couple of years ago.
But if
I don't understand why you don't
Is
just
it
arrest
because
them.
if it's a psych issue,
so
does that take it off the board and make it a whole separate issue?
But here's something I want to bring up, right? For example, somebody just hypothetically gets intoxicated, comes to your house thinking that it's their house, and you think they're breaking in. But in their mind, they think it's their home, right? They think they're home, for example. They think they're trying to get in. That's a scenario I'm going to give you.
Okay, great, but they are breaking in. They're not trying to. They are trying to break in. It's not their house. Again, it's not your decision to decide what their intent was. Your job as a police officer, as far as I know and understand from family members, is that if somebody's doing something they're not supposed to, there's consequences.
Of course.
Right? So that's where I'm having an issue. Is it because we're afraid that this person's going to turn around and try to sue you guys? I don't know what it is, but I think if you enforce the law, do your part of that equation, there'll be less incidents. And not for nothing, if there is a lot, then it's going to show trends. If you show trends, then you see where the real bad guys are. Yeah, listen, they probably did have mental health. If they had mental health issues, isn't it a responsibility for you guys to call that division within Suffolk County and they go into a psych ward for 72 hours?
So there's certain criteria that they have to meet for them to be taken to CPEP at Stony Brook, for example, to receive mental health services. I'm speaking on the issue because I don't really.
Listen,
I
know we're not there, but I'm just trying to understand, like, why, if there's an incident, it's a documented incident, somebody's doing something they're not supposed to do, why are the police not arresting them or putting them in a psych unit? I mean, it's happening, unfortunately, too frequently that basically they're walking away, right? And I just don't understand. I want to get my head around it because, you know, not for nothing, we have to pay for private security now to keep these people out who are armed security in the Village of Brightwood because we have this issue. And I know we're better than most because I talk to other villages, I talk to other towns, what's going on out there. It's really bad, some of these areas around us. And I want to keep it that we're not bad. But if you guys are not arresting people and putting them into the system and start documenting the data points, then you're making your job harder and you're making your job more dangerous, I think, too, because the bad actors, you're going to know real quickly who the bad actors are. You're going to get them out off the street faster. The people that have problems, you're going to know where they have to go. They have to go to shelter, they got to go to psych ward, they got to be, you know, redirected. But I don't see it happening even from the top level. That's what I'm saying. I just don't see it.
I get what you're saying. I wish I could comment a little bit more on that situation specifically, just because I didn't deal with individuals. Like, I'm kind of giving you a scenario.
I was involved in this. I would love to be able to have someone contact me to get some more information, because it was, you know, for this woman, she's calling 911. Her husband's out in the front yard, you know, having an altercation with somebody who just tried to break in their house. They pick the guy up, and they don't even contact her to let her know the people that tried to break into your house are off the street. And turns out they weren't, but I mean, I would think there would be some communication with the victim where literally, like, the report that was taken was nothing, no information. They basically took the information that this person tried to get to my house, and then they drove away, picked these guys up, and brought them back to Center Avenue, I think is a site.
Yeah, probably wherever they were staying, if it was a shelter or wherever,
So,
I guess.
I really, what got me the most was that they didn't contact the victim and be like, hey, the person that just tried to break into your house is not on the street anymore. You know, instead of his wife literally, you know, freaking out. Somebody just tried to come into their home, and then, like I said, it was a serious verbal altercation. The guy was threatened, you know, and none of that was put in the report. It couldn't have been because we didn't give it. We weren't given the opportunity to give them that information. So yeah, if there is somebody that would be able to contact me, that'd be great.
Yeah, I don't know if you've spoken to John Wright in the precinct or somebody deals with kind of like community affairs. I'll see if they'll reach out to you. Please, if you want, I can give you information. After
I'll give it to you now.
So if you want to give it to me now,
yeah, I'll just give it. Yeah, I'll just give it now.
Why don't you write that up? Does anybody have anything else for the officer? Anybody from the audience?
I have a question.
Yes, sir.
Same scenario. Someone's trying to break into my house, okay? And I was helping him, escorting him off my property and down the stoop, and oops, he fell, and broke one or maybe two kneecaps. Are you going to arrest me?
Well, there's no.
If he fell.
I mean, from what you're telling me, I don't see a crime. You're helping somebody out,
Yeah.
getting intended,
I was helping
you
him
know.
leave the property. He fell.
You know, whether you get sued by that person, that's something completely different. But as far as the rest of us,
you were going to arrest me, that's all.
No.
Okay.
Our big thing is, it's important for things to be documented.
Correct.
Because if we call the precinct 6 months from now, they go, oh, I'll just say nothing happens in Brightwaters. But sometimes things do, but it's not documented because, you know, it's just for a certain one reason or another. So we're telling our residents to always call the police if someone breaks into your car. Don't say it's 911 and it's emergency, if it's the next day and someone took a change out of your car. But at least contact the police so that we see it in the report so that they know that there's some issues and can track them in certain spots. So I think that's where some of the frustration is that we keep telling everybody to contact so it's documented, and we know for a fact some things are not.
So I just wanted to bring up the fact that I don't know if you guys are aware, every call I go to or every other officer, we have to do a report. Whether the full details get put in the narrative, that I don't know, but if you call 911, I show up, you tell me what happens, that's what I put in the report.
Yeah, well, that's why I was hoping that it was going to show up on this report tonight so that I could find out what was actually written in the report, but there's nothing.
Is there a way for a complainant to add to or write up something after the fact and send it to you guys?
So as far as what, like making a report
So like
after the fact?
for this incident, so they left, and then if, let's say it was my house, and I said, I want to write this up, exactly what happened, and send it to you so that you can keep it documented in your things. Is there a way for me to do that?
So here's the thing you're going to run into an issue with, right? Like if that was already reported, if you already pulled 911 for that issue, it should be in the system and there should be a report for that already. Whether arrest came out of it, whether it got closed out, whether it gets, sent to an investigative unit, there's supposed to be some type of report for every call we go to.
Is that good? Just my phone number, right orders, and the name and the time. And
Yeah, because this will allow me to go into the call right now and look up the actual call.
So when you guys try to report this complaint number, correct?
Correct.
So do they get a complaint number when you write a report?
Some people request it from us. Some
Okay,
people
so
don't.
So if I'm suggesting to residents, if there's something, get a complaint number so that if you want to follow up, you can send additional stuff with that complaint number?
Correct. Yes, it just makes it easier because you can reference it. So we'll give you an incident slip with the officer who took the report, the time, the date, and then the report number will be on there as well.
All right, that's good to know.
As far as the stabbing incident that happened in the end of November by the tracks, are you familiar with that, where one guy got stabbed?
Yes, I think I remember hearing about that.
Yeah, I think they did arrest all the people who were involved, I
I think
believe.
they were up to 4.
I believe so, yes.
Our thing was to make sure that we tell the residents it wasn't a gang of kids who decided to come into Brightwaters and just pick a random person to stab them. It was a confrontation that they had called the people, they met to get into a fight, and unfortunately one had a knife. So, there's nothing new else as far as that incident is concerned.
Not
Okay.
that I heard.
Anything from the residents? Any questions? Okay, great. All right, thank you.
Yeah, thanks.
Be safe.
Sorry.
Yeah, guys, have a good night. Thank you.
No worries.
Be safe out there.
Okay, reports of the mayor and the trustees. Trustee Fawcett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Obviously, we did our security report. We're turning the page in 2025, 2026. We're looking at the budget. We have a lot of things that we have to really kind of take a look at. We have 3 contracts we're going to negotiate this year, one with the fire department that's here. We actually have our garbage contract. We also have the DPW contract. Ambulance is pretty much on even keel. We don't have to renegotiate that. We did a good job of saving the residents. I think $75,000 a year annually with that contract. And then we have to look at what the infrastructure, our roads. I've been trying to take notes of like which roads actually have to be done. I think the youngest roads were the roads we did last summer, but besides that, I think all of our roads are over 10 years old. And the cycle of most roads is 10 years. So we need to start looking at what roads we can do, what monies we have. And then we have a lot of committees, we have a lot of volunteers in this village that want to do different things. We have a choir, we have our big group, we have our ladies in the back that do an amazing job with the planters. Want to make sure that they have money so that they can do their projects, keep the village as pretty as it was. This Christmas was spectacular with all the plantings they did all over the village, and especially down by the gazebos and on the cascades. So we want to make sure that we have enough monies to do all that and also stay within the cap if possible. I don't know if that's going to be possible. We're going to try. And then also look out 3 to 5 years. Our equipment that we have in our DPW, we did a master plan about 3 years ago. We're so far behind on what equipment we're supposed to buy, so we have to speak to DPW and Mike and see what equipment they need. They do an amazing job keeping the village as clean as possible and clearing the streets with snow. But we have to make sure that we're giving the proper equipment, and they use that equipment every day, so it's getting older, and we're going to have to figure out how to do that as well. So this year is going to be very challenging from a budget standpoint, and my job right now is to kind of look at all that stuff. That's it, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Great, thank you. Trustee Pettit?
Yeah, so as far as crime and traffic and all, the holiday season was relatively uneventful in the village for crime. We didn't get any reports to the village of stolen packages from residents as far as, porch pirates or anything like that. Nothing showed up on the police report about it. A stop sign was approved for the corner of Ackerson and Iroquois. If any village residents are looking for a stop sign at their corner or intersection, send a petition to Village Hall. We're also looking to hire a new code officer. If any village residents are interested, please contact Village Hall.
And we had one code officer, today was his last day. He does the Sunday days, and he does, I think, 3 afternoons, 4 to 12. So we're going to be reaching out, sending something out to the residents to see if anybody would be interested in doing that, being trained to do those hours. We are short guys, so we might be hiring 2 guys, so that way we have an extra one. So we'll start looking into that. Okay, great. Thank you. Trustee Del Vecchio?
January events, we have January 7th, the Brightwaters Historical Society will be holding their first meeting of the year featuring the photographer John Lazaro, who does a lot of urban photography. He'll be there answering any questions and also showing his techniques. Then we also had on January 24th, the Polar Plunge down at Walker Beach. Coming, Operation Vest will be hosting that, and I hope it's cold.
If you don't do it, that's why.
I would never. But that's all I have for January.
Okay, great. The people who are who run Operation Vest are village residents, so we like to support them. The race is it's 2.2 miles, and then they jump in the bay. Last year, the fire department did break the ice in Walker Beach so that they could jump in, and Bill jumped in, right?
Yeah.
Bill jumped in. Thank you.
Very
Appreciate
nice.
that. But no, we like to appreciate and support village residents who have these events. In the spring, SOS run, Erin Mascara lives on the lakes. She runs that event, and it's a very popular event and very successful in Brightwaters. Trustee Penalty?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Village DPW has been busy last week. I have a list of things. Regular village maintenance was done, fall cleanups of service roads, removal of brush and leaves, trash pickup from village receptacles and right of ways. I spoke with Village Hall and DPW, and we notified Wellsback Electric, who's in charge of the street lights and the traffic light, and the traffic signal at Union Boulevard and Windsor Avenue the timing was changed, so the green on the north-south of Windsor Avenue is now longer because the traffic was backing up to sea levels. And since that's been done, the traffic has been noticeably down. So people on Union Boulevard will have to wait a little bit longer, but the traffic is flowing on Windsor Avenue, which is a good thing. The DPW assisted the Garden Club with the removal of the cabbage and decoration of downtown planter boxes. A cast iron check valve failed in a closed position in Marine Court and Concourse East, causing flooding. The valve was open and the basins were cleared of debris. They were patching potholes throughout the village as the weather permits. There was 49.11 tons of salt was brought in to replenish the salt shed. 12/14, the crews were brought in to plow and salt after a snowstorm brought 6 inches of heavy snow. On 12/19, we had a wind and rainstorm that brought 60-mile-an-hour winds, causing further damage to the sailboat harbor. And the West Breakwater and jetty was also brought down to small winds. On 12/26, crews were brought in to plow and salt 8 inches of snow. Maintenance of the snow plows and spreaders was ongoing, and any dock lines and hoses that were left along the canal were removed and are available for pickup at the DPW yard. That's it on my report, Mr. Mayor.
Okay, great. I mean, the guys we do have a 5-man crew, everybody knows, and they do the entire village of snow and sand, and if people are a little patient the first couple of hours, they do a nice job. Unfortunately, for us, it always seems to be snowing on Saturdays and Sundays at night, so it's double time and time and a half. And it really does take a hit out of the budget. Like if it snowed during the day, during the week, we're not paying any overtime, it's just our normal cost. So we're going to be flying through that overtime pretty quickly. If we're not through it already, we're getting pretty close to doing it. We didn't have anybody come in on New Year's when there was a little snow, but it melted pretty quickly. So we had one guy in yesterday doing some sanding, so that's double time. So it does add up. The new highway building, being able to keep all the equipment inside When it snows though, they come in, they get in their warm trucks and they go. So that's definitely helping out. Just want to, as far as I'm concerned, I just want to thank everybody participating in all the things we have in December, up to caroling on Christmas Eve. John Dunn, who runs the group of like 12 musicians that show up. It's a nice night out. It's like a half an hour, and appreciate him doing that. We've already thanked the Garden Club for all their work. They do a great job. Happy to support them. On January 15th, the 250th Anniversary Committee is meeting at the cabin at 7 o'clock. We have a lot of our events set up already, so we're going to be starting to work on planning for that as we get into the spring and the summer. So you're going to see more and more of that. If people are available to come to that meeting and just be part of it a little bit, part of it, that would be great. Again, we did mention the new code guy. We've reached out in the past for different code guys, and you definitely get an eclectic group of people applying for the job. So if we could hire a couple of people in-house in the village who are readily available to come in, I think that would be helpful. I believe we pay 20, 21 now an hour for that.
Yeah.
So, that's what the job pays. We have to keep ahead of minimum wage, right? Since the minimum wage keeps going up, so our guys keep going up.
Do we offer flex positions like college kids that are local?
Well, they have to be trained to do the tickets and all, right? So, that's part of it too. So they have to get familiar with a lot of the code books stuff. So if people want to do it and learn to do it so that they can do it during the summer and other times, that would be great. The overnight people, we seem to be happy with it. We get daily reports by 8 o'clock in the morning. Every morning at 8 o'clock, they send us a report. Anybody who walks in the village that they see at night when they're here from 11 to 5 in the morning, they stop and talk to them. Where you going? Where you going? Where you going with this, that? So they are doing what we had hoped for them to do. And as far as we know, maybe cars have been gone into, but we're not seeing it on the reports. We're not hearing it at Village Hall. So I believe
Nothing like last year.
Yeah, I mean,
We were getting inundated.
it's their car, it's their gas, so it's saving on wear and tear on our equipment. So our highway foreman isn't here tonight. He got called for jury duty, and it's grand jury duty. So he's probably going to be gone for about 3 weeks. So not good. So, just make it work. Okay, that's all I have on my report. All right. The next thing is the Bay Shore Fire Department. From the fire department, Gary, Gary Arnold is here. I don't know what your title is or what you want to be called.
One of the commissioners, one of 5.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Mayor, I can make a motion to open the public hearing.
I make a motion to open the public hearing. Do I have a second? All in favor?
Aye.
And if you state your name again for the record, please.
Gary Arnold, Commissioner for the Bay Shore Fire Department.
Do the residents have his stuff, Nicole?
Yes.
So all the residents have all the numbers and all their increases and their costs that they have. So, start, Gary.
Yeah, no problem. First off, Happy New Year to everybody. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. It's never good news when you see a 10% increase in terms of year over year, but unfortunately, that's where we're at. That 2% cap that we were under since 2012 really put us behind the 8 ball in terms of accruing capital funds and stuff like that. You mirror that with the expansion of Bay Shore, what's going on in Bay Shore with the expansion of the hospital, all the apartments. We need to build those capital reserves, and that's what this is part of.
I don't mean to interrupt you. Can you guys hear Gary back there?
Not really.
Do you want him to go sideways, maybe?
Yeah, maybe
Gary,
if you can turn your podium that way over there, so you can face kind of the board and the public.
How's that?
Wait, we'll get you.
Can you hear me?
Have you guys, since you have so many more apartments and I know at least 2 big apartment buildings coming, maybe even more, Are you required to have more equipment, more people on? Is there any requirements that
Well,
you guys have to do to meet the demand that you might?
well, let me give you some facts first, since you mentioned two. And by the way, this document I'm referencing is a document I'm using with Northwell, right? We're trying to get funds from Northwell to help us with the additional equipment we need to service the hospital, right? The town of Iceland did a terrible job in communicating with the fire department when they did the expansion at the hospital. Nobody came to us and said, what kind of equipment is needed to get into the parking garage? How high can your equipment go? Right? I mean, basic questions that were never asked in the fire department. But you mentioned two, right? If you look at the number of projects in this town, they range from, 2-story to, 6-story buildings, from 4 apartments to 400 apartments. I mean, I have 2 full pages, two and a half pages of additional apartments that have gone up in this town in the last several years. Right? So it's not 2.
Yeah, I know there's 2 that haven't been built yet.
And there's 2 that haven't been built yet. Right,
Yeah,
right. Yeah.
Lakeside Fence property.
Oh, and that's coming too.
It's actually free.
Right. Yeah, free. So, why did we land here, right? I mentioned the 2% cap that we were under for a lot of years, right? That put us behind the 8 ball. I'll give you some examples here. And President Broward should be familiar with this, right? If you look at the increase in the cost and build times for apparatus over the last 7 years, a 100-foot tower ladder truck that could have been purchased in 2018 for $1 million, it took 18 months to get that truck. Now it costs $2.25 to $2.5 million, and it's taking up to 4 years to build. Right? That's just one example of the costs that we're under. And I could give you, 15 more categories where the costs have just gone through the roof. Right? So unfortunately, we have to pass that along to the town that we support.
So Gary, so I'm going to be the bad guy.
Yeah, that's okay.
We're friends, so no
Yep,
personal.
no problem.
Why is Brightwater is paying this additional cost when we are not asking you for anything more than what you've done for the last 50, 60 years?
Well, unfortunately, the increase that we're experiencing, we have to spread over the entire community. We
Right,
can't say we're not giving it to Brightwater.
But the expense that you're mentioning, what you're specifically mentioning is to come up with the departments, well, not Brightwater. I'm not saying that you You're not saying that anything you currently do requires anything new for Brightwater.
Right.
What you're saying is for Greater Bay Shore. Unfortunately, it's the Bay Shore Brightwater's fire department.
Right.
Why do we have to pay for that?
Listen, that's a fair question, but the way that we do it, we spread it across the entire community. Right? We're not going to say, Brightwater's only has 2 apartment complexes going up, or 1, right, versus Bay Shore. So Bay Shore is going to bear the burden, right? What really should be done is the town should go to these builders and factor in what additional equipment's going to be.
Absolutely. 100%.
That's what should be done. We shouldn't have to figure this out.
Well, let me ask you another question. Since we were able to model with the ambulance company, has there been any proposals that if you have to go to a fire at a house that you could build the insurance company for your time?
That's been discussed, but it really hasn't gone anywhere.
Has it been tried?
Because, yeah, I mean, the ambulance department, it was never tried with the ambulance department, but now they're doing it very successfully, right?
Yeah,
So
that's worth exploring.
Okay.
That'll come with a whole lot of other costs,
Right.
legal costs.
So let me ask you a question. So we're very unique. We pay and residents of the town of Iceland and pay you through the town of Iceland taxes, correct?
Right.
So how do you determine that when you have probably close to 1,000 new apartments? Are they getting they're not getting a tax bill? Is that landlord getting a tax bill for each apartment? On a fire line?
Yeah, the taxes are being handled by the town.
Right.
Right.
So if the town is giving them a 10-year tax thing, does that include the fire department is what I'm asking?
Oh, okay. Yeah, it does.
So again, we're bearing the fruit of that. So when that comes online, do you get a reduction?
I agree.
In 10
That's
years,
something-
in 10 years from now, when you guys start getting paid from them, would ours be reduced because we've been paying more?
Right. I mean, that's a fair point. Unfortunately, that's the way it's done, you know. I know that's not what you want to hear.
No, I'm asking these questions because they're real questions and, you know, they're hard questions and I hate to ask you because you're a good friend of mine. But
No, that's okay.
They
Listen, they sent me down here for a reason.
I know, I know. So so if we were to complain about this, who actually would we get any traction with whatsoever?
So if you wanted to come down to the firehouse, and you wanted to have a working session, see if there's anything we can do, we would entertain that. But I'm telling you, we've gone through this 3 ways from Sunday, right? We don't like going to you and saying, you know.
No, listen, I know I need equipment. I know there's a lot of things, but the problem I have is there's 1,000 new residents in Bayshore, downtown Bayshore. There's a big building that they're just going to complete. It's going to go online. I think I read the paper this summer, right? We're bearing that as taxpayers, right? And I don't think it's fairly being burdened on us. Like we're not asking for anything new. They are.
Right.
That's the problem. That's where I see the problem. Like, why is the village residents paying for something that, first of all, we have no say in? Like, you feel this too because you had no say with Tom Weissel, right? When they started doing this, you guys were never included in those conversations. Well, we're never included in conversations about why is now we have to pay 10%, it's 10% over 10% over 10%. Now next year it's going to be another 10%. I don't know.
Right.
So like at some point we got to say, hey guys, this, you know, come on. Last year we were like, all right, we get it. You got new equipment, you got to get X, Y, and Z. But now come back with another 10%.
Right.
So where does it end?
Yeah, no, I get it.
You know what I mean?
Valid,
But I'm just trying to say, where is it? Can we have a conversation? Is it with you? Is it with the town of Islip? Is it with Albany? Who is it that we have to have a conversation with to say, hey guys, this is unfair? Why is this? How can this happen? And how do we get a voice so that we can at least shut this off for next year, if nothing else?
Right. Well, I think, why don't we do this? I think ultimately it has to happen at the town level.
Right.
But you know, we would go to the town with you guys, right? Because I'm not standing here
Well, maybe
disagreeing.
we go to the town together and say, hey,
Right.
you gave them a 10-year tax break or whatever tax break it is. You need to now fund that back to the village of Brightwood so that we can pay them.
Right.
Because now by giving them a tax break, you're unfairly taxing us.
Right. Well, they should have never given the tax breaks that they gave to
Right.
the builders. I mean, that was ridiculous.
So
I mean, without any foresight into
correct.
infrastructure that's needed to support that building.
I mean, you know, it's a shitty situation all the way around here, right? Because you guys got to do what you got to do because you need to do it. We're getting killed because you now are. What percentage of our budget is the fire department now? It's 12%,
Yeah.
roughly
12 to 15.
12 to 15% of our total budget. So, you know, that's a lot of money.
I assume you guys go after money from the state and the government.
Yeah, we have.
A couple of weeks ago, it's fire department, 25 million, the whole state, it's from Hochul's office, and again, 25 million divided by all the cities, states, everything, how much can you get? But Bay Shore is such a diverse community.
We have people that focus on these grants to make sure we get our fair share.
Yeah, they sent that to me, so I just happened to have
Is
it.
that gonna happen?
Yeah, give it a real.
I mean, Pat, if you want to have a working session on
Absolutely.
how we can
Yeah.
together try to tackle this,
Yeah, I mean, obviously we're gonna have to speak to Angie, and
Yeah.
I have no problem with that. You know, what's she gonna do? Say no when we're at the same place we're at right now, right?
yeah, well, we've had some interesting conversations with Angie and the town council.
Yeah. All right. Anybody else on the board have any questions?
Yeah, just quick, so the apparatus and equipment going up almost $1 million this year, that's based off of buying a new tower ladder?
It's based on buying new equipment.
So did we not have a tower ladder before this?
We do, but let me give you some facts on the tower ladder that we have. It's in need of replacement. I'll just,
Is that the one on Union?
what's that?
Is that the truck on Union?
Yeah.
Looking like, was it looking like what Dave Brown used to do that?
Okay, so we have one tower truck that's 27 years old. Okay, we have another 100-foot tower ladder that's
It's a stick.
25 years old.
It's a stick.
What's that?
It's a stick, it's not a tower line.
Yes, right, yeah. I mean,
Well, just,
Yeah, gotcha.
Because
he's 50, so he knows.
we have another pumper truck.
Jarring
that's
it out
25
here.
years. My point is,
You know,
we've
I'm
been
wondering
hanging
what
on to this equipment, patching it
Yeah,
together.
we do the same thing, Gary. We got trucks that probably shouldn't be on the road anymore, but, you know,
But now we're
We're not
faced
saving
with.
lives.
But now we're faced, right, you're not saving lives, right?
Yeah.
But now we're faced with, okay, can that truck get up
yeah, I
to
agree
that-
100%.
to that roof? And the answer is no.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
that is
It's a big problem.
Is there a mandatory retirement on equipment?
No, no.
10 years.
That's what ours, yeah, it should. It doesn't
New
matter.
York City.
No.
But, so there's no mandatory retirement on that?
You guys, 10 years in your
We have, you know,
10
we
years,
have,
and then it
we
goes
have,
into reserve.
you know, mechanics on staff to
Yeah.
keep things operational.
Yeah, but it's just wear and tear over the years.
Hey, Gary, you know, Bill, but do you guys ever contact New York City about what they do with their equipment? They retired after 10 years.
I can check with Bill Stanger, I don't know, maybe you know that. I haven't been part of any of those conversations.
Never been done before, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, now, getting aside from ladder trucks, which
Right.
is 2.5 million, and you're gonna spend 900 to 1.2 on an engine, you need 2 of those. To outfit a new recruit, it's over $12,000.
Right.
We got 10 of them, just in the last year. Now, we can't get, you know, other fire departments are asking very sure how are you getting recruits, because nobody's volunteering.
Right.
So, you know, Bay Shore is lucky enough to get recruits. However, it costs them over $100,000 just to outfit with gear, boots, backpack, radio, helmet, you know.
Yeah.
So, I'm not defending you guys, because
I understand, right.
I'm explaining
Appreciate
some of the costs that are involved. Now, I'm sure you take your budget to the butcher shop and we gotta cut some fat. And maybe we can see what we can do.
I mean, more than happy to have those discussions, but I'm trying to, we didn't want to come to you with a 10% increase.
Yeah, I know, you can't tell, last year with what, 14? And you can't, and then I'm afraid of what's in next year. So,
Yeah.
and down the road, we're trying to,
I know.
pump the brakes.
Yeah, you know, it's unfortunately, if you factor in what I said earlier about the tax gap that was going on, that put us in a hole, and then you look at the cost to manufacture
I know.
and run the fire department has gone up over the last 5 years, like a ridiculous amount of money.
I just watched in the news today that Floral Park just shut down the fire department.
Yeah, well, you know, those conversations
They're
are
out
all
of business,
Yeah.
because they can't afford the insurance nor recruit.
And there are a number of people that think it's cheaper to have paid
not.
right?
Sorry,
Good
Bill,
luck,
but it's
good luck with that. No, good luck with that.
Yeah, I thought that was the whole goal, is to eventually push out all the volunteers.
You know, I think maybe at some point it might be a hybrid model.
Yeah, there's a bunch of places.
But I don't know where that's, you know, this way you have people on site, you know, that can respond. But, you know, that's years out, I think.
Yeah.
As far as the real property taxes, those are property taxes for the firehouses?
Yeah.
And there's,
Yeah.
what's the tax exemption like for that? Like, there's no tax exemption for a volunteer fire company? So $3 million a year, wow, that's crazy.
Can the fire department come in not-for-profit?
Can the fire department come in? No, we run as a not-for-profit.
But
Yeah, that's
are
why-
you
that's why I'm surprised it's-
actually not-for-profit, like legally? If you have not-for-profit status, if you have
I know we
not-for-profit
operate-
status, then
Yeah, I
you
don't know about
should
the
not be
actual.
paying
Yeah.
property tax.
We're not a registered not-for-profit, but we operate.
Maybe register as a not-for-profit,
Yeah.
save the property tax.
It's $3 million a year.
Yeah.
Property taxes, so yeah.
Yeah, okay, so we do that, guess what's gonna happen to you guys?
Yeah.
They're gonna make that tax base up, they're gonna spread it across the rest of the town.
Is that
I don't think I don't think it'll be a 10% increase to us though.
Well, we gotta make sure we don't show up here next year with 10% increase.
Does anybody else on the board have anything before the residents? Any residents have any questions for Gary?
I just wanted to know, who gets the 10% reduction? Who's getting that? You mentioned something about.
No, so when they built the old Toro, whatever, what is it called now, Bay, what is that thing called?
Shoregate.
Shoregate, when they built Shoregate, they gave them a tax break, so they don't have to pay taxes on that building for, I don't know exactly, but I think it's at least 10 years.
The county and town gives them
Oh,
tax
okay.
incentives.
Okay.
So to the bill.
Yeah, okay, I understand that.
So
You mentioned that.
so by giving them the tax break, there's less money going in the coffers for the fire department, because they're not getting any of that money. So now that increase unfortunately falls on us. So,
Jennifer?
Hi, with respect specifically to Northwell, I would imagine West Islip is probably in a comparable position with the expansion of Good Samaritan Hospital. Have you had any conversations, like I know you're talking about maybe taking this to the town level, maybe the hospital centers, given their size and their equipment needs very specific, maybe that needs to be a little bit like broader, like maybe it's shared equipment, if that's a possibility, or maybe it's funding it differently and having that be almost its own budget, because both of these hospital centers now are huge.
Yeah.
And I can't imagine, I mean, I grew up in West Islip, my dad volunteered my whole life there, he was a fireman, then he was an EMT, so I imagine it doesn't live there anymore, but the equipment needs are probably very similar for Good Sam. And all over Long Island, we see these huge renovations, emergency centers, like having conversations.
Yeah. We have talked to our colleagues in West Islip. West Islip is similar from a hospital standpoint in terms of the expansion of the hospital, but very different from Bay Shore because they don't have the departments that have been added to the community, right? But we have had discussions with them. We are meeting with the executives at Northwell to see how they can help us, right, which would offset the financial burden of the community, right? We haven't made any progress yet, but we're going down that road. So I appreciate the comment, and maybe what we should do is go back to West Islip and see if they want to team with us, right? And we could support that.
because if one of these centers goes on fire, you're going to be calling them.
Oh, we're going to be there, right? No
Right,
question
so-
about it. And we work hand in hand with West
Yeah.
Islip. Yeah. So good point.
That's a good question.
Rich? With regard to Northwell specifically, do you have any conversations or do you have access to their insurance company? Because if their insurance company puts pressure on them to have better equipment to cut their insurance costs or they're not going to insure them, that would give you a lot more leverage in terms of getting money from them.
Mm-hmm. That's a very good point. And that's something we could bring up with Peter Hoffman, who's on the board. I don't know who their insurance company is, to be candid with you, but that's also a good avenue. Anything we could do to have leverage is
Well, the insurance companies, if they say, we're not going to insure you unless you have this equipment and you're going to have to pay for it,
Yeah.
That's huge leverage.
Yeah, I'll make a note of that.
Okay, any other questions for Gary?
Make sure your fire detectors have batteries in them.
Yes.
You have your carbon monoxide detectors, okay?
That's your public service
That's my
announcement?
public service announcement.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you.
Make a motion to close the public hearing on the Bayshore Fire Department?
Call me up and we'll sit down and brainstorm.
Absolutely.
All right.
All right, thanks,
Happy New
Gary.
Year.
Good night.
Happy New Year, buddy.
Thank you.
All right, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, the next thing on the agenda is most of you know, Jeannie Perkle has retired. So Kristen French moved from being the court clerk over to the deputy clerk, and we had to hire a new court clerk. So the court clerk we hired, I believe she does Solitaire also?
Yes.
Okay. So she just started today. Well, did she officially start today?
Yeah.
Turn the camera off. She started today, but anyway. I'd like to make a motion to appoint Heidi Margolin as part-time clerk at the hourly rate of $24 an hour. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next thing is the payment for the speed humps. To date, I think we've only gotten one complaint in writing in Village Hall about the speed humps. We thought we were going to be inundated with complaints, but as of now, a month and a half later, 2 months later, we've just gotten one person. We still see people going over these ones by the park at 35, 40 miles an hour, but they only do it once, and then they learn. So it's just a shame, but we think they're working out so far. So,
They survived this first big snowstorm too, so that's a good thing with our plows.
yeah, yeah.
And we've gotten multiple emails on the positive end.
Yeah.
Right,
You know.
right. So, all right. So I guess we have to pay these guys, right? All right. So make a motion to pay Fifth Avenue paving, $12,775 from capital funds for speed humps throughout the village and warning lines before speed humps on Windsor. Make a motion to pay. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
That came out of our too, right?
Yes.
Didn't apply for that yet.
Okay, but it's going to come out of our road money. The next thing was Mississippi Park. The town of Islip has given us $25,000. Every year, they ask us if we need it for certain projects. So on the on the west side of the cabin is outside storage room that we want to convert to a handicap bathroom. And, we put out the plumbing numbers. The plumbing's the big number. They're giving us $25,000. It'll probably cost us 23 to 24 when everything is done. So this is just to start the ball rolling. We haven't set any times on when the bathroom will be open yet. That's for further discussion. But we just want to get the contracts going, and then we'll work out that later. So I make a motion for permission to hire Herbert Plumbing and Heating. The plumbing contract for the new ADA outdoor bathroom at Mississippi Park for $14,798. Make a motion to hire. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? So,
Can I make a comment?
Yeah.
yeah.
Before you go ahead with this project, I don't know, if you give it much thought. It's been 40 years in law enforcement, 32 in NYPD, the rest of the public safety director for the town of Huntington. This issue comes up frequently about outside bathroom facilities and pocket parks that aren't supervised and they're not gated. You're going to potentially draw people that you're not going to want in the park to the park. Mom comes with a kid, she takes him home, puts him in the car, comes back later. You're going to draw people that are going to hang out with Lawyer in the park. I guarantee you, without batting an eyelash, that it's going to be a problem. And I've recommended the Parks Department in Huntington many, many times to avoid this. And it happens. He winds up with needles in the park and junkies using the bathroom.
Well, the one thing that's a big helper there, Ken, is the cabin is surrounded with cabins, light all the time. And if we have set hours between 10 and 5, and we have code enforcement on at all times, don't you?
What are they going to lock the doors at night?
Yeah, it's 5 o'clock. Right now, my thought is 10 to 5.
It's
All right, then you still got to worry about the daytime.
We're going to primarily going to be using it in the summertime.
No, I
I'm
disagree
just
with that.
sorry. Yeah,
I think the park, last year about a dozen times I opened up the cabin for people to use during the day, because when the park is packed with people, if I ever stop in the cabin, the first thing someone says is, can I use the bathroom inside? Between the tennis, the grandparents, the parents, and the kids, there's people who go to the bathroom, and if they don't have the cabin open, they're using the trees and they're using the little area in front of the storage room to go to the bathroom. So it's a constant issue, and again.
Well, people expect you to give them the key and open the bathroom for them. You've got to keep asking for it.
Well, again, there's
I
not
don't
going
know.
to be.
It's your decision. I'm just raising the objection of why I'm objecting, and it comes from a position I know what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Is it a done deal?
Go ahead and do what you want.
Well, we're getting $25,000. If I'm not going to take $25,000 to have a free bathroom outside that we could use for events, for the camp, and for future use when the park is crowded, then I would be an idiot not to take it.
Is it earmarked specifically for the bathroom?
Yes.
Yeah, because I've even noticed the inside bathroom sometimes is very messy.
That's not,
Well, John,
I
I'm
disagree
not,
with
in-
that, Judy.
I don't, how many years has that cabin been there? And there's been no outside bathroom?
Judy, if I go to the bathroom, if I go to the park, I
I-
stop in and check something in the cabin, within 5 minutes, someone's knocking on the door to go to the bathroom. Grandparents are always asking, kids are asking, people playing tennis courts are always asking for a bathroom. If you don't want your kids to use that bathroom, don't use the bathroom, all right? We have cameras on it all the time. The building is surrounded by cameras. We'll have signage up. We'll set the times to like shorter times. The easiest thing we could do is build it and open it for special events and for the camp. So if there's gonna be a further discussion, if people wanna come and say, don't open the bathroom because people are gonna do drugs and stuff between 12 and 5 o'clock, you know, or 10 in the morning and 5, then that's a discussion we'll have further. It would be foolish for us not to do it. Because then we have, we have porta potties, when we have the garage sale, we have different things. This is a luxury that's not gonna cost us anything to do. So why wouldn't I make that
I'm just thinking about the
improvement?
person that sleeps underneath the highway there,
So
knowing that the bathroom.
why would he wait till 10 o'clock? He would just go to the gas station and do it for free.
I'm sorry, but it's
I'm
just in
just-
my mind, and
It's,
I'm just.
yeah, if the hours are controlled so that it's not conducive to the bathrooms at Walker Beach are open from 7 in the morning to dark.
But there's lifeguards.
No, there's not. It's open from April to November. There's lifeguards in the summertime. Bathrooms are open. If we don't have those bathrooms open at 7:15 for the walkers and the people jogging, I get texts and saying, when are the bathrooms going to be open? We've never had an incident at Walker Beach. They're always open.
Okay. Or you have the option of closing.
It's a
the
different,
stairs.
if it's a different amount of crowds, it's a different amount of people, but those bathrooms are open unsupervised from 7 in the morning to dark.
So they're only gonna be open in the summertime, or
Well,
this one?
If I have my-
well, the park, the busiest park time is probably April, May, and then during camp.
Because they'll
Okay?
freeze, probably, in the real.
No, well, we lock it up, we close it up. We pick a time, like the Halloween parade would be the
Yes.
time after that, it would be locked up. So, then we drain it and it can't be used again. So, again, I
I'll be
understand
watching.
Ken's concern, we do have the cameras on it. And we have people that, again, I don't say never. My daughter and her friends have contacted the police and discussed with it. The first thing they said, supervision there, or any cameras.
Were you gonna give the video to the cops?
Yeah, right? You were the cop, you tell me. You behaved when that guy was here, that was good, Ken.
Yeah, listen, if you wanna talk on the side, I got a solution for you.
Again,
All right.
the idea is to go with the bathroom. We could have this 3 months from now before the spring. Why wouldn't you do a free bathroom? When we have events, we have to bring in porta potties. Who wants to use the porta potties? Nobody. So then I have to open up the building. So then people go through the building and inside, and that's what, Judy, they say they see the messy. But that's because no one wants to use the porta potties. If we have this outdoor bathroom, we're not opening the inside because we have the outside bathroom. So, we could utilize it to what it's our benefit. It does have a changing table, it is meant for B handicap. So, there's bathrooms I know Gardner Park has public bathrooms over there, the county. So it's just, as far as that homeless guy holding it in until 10 o'clock when he can go to the gas station for free, that's why I don't see that. Carl?
Can some of the funds from this block grant, if you don't use all of it, be used to address some of the concerns that are being discussed here now?
As long as it's geared towards the bathroom.
Yeah.
Yeah, as
Yeah.
far as locks, and again, we have the cameras surround the building right now. So if
You
there's any...
recorded me once even.
What's that? So if there's any further security on that, the money has to be spent for that project, because we get stuff from the town, from the county, from the state all the time saying, oh, we have these grants for you. oh, you don't qualify for anything. Okay, this happens to be one of the things where they helped us to pay for the bathrooms at Walker Beach. They gave us 25 grand towards those bathrooms too, because as long as they were handicapped, changing tables, as long as we met all the requirements, they helped us with that. So in the last 3 years, we haven't been able to get anything, and then it's like, you know what, let's just do this and get it done. So
It's gonna be just one?
yeah, it would just be one. And
I don't think anyone would object to having the bathroom during the camp time, or the ice cream social, or the garage sale, or any events where you would not have to get the porta potties. Then it would make sense. I think you're going to get a lot of pushback, the 9 to 5 idea.
yeah, I want to hear that pushback, because I want to hear the people saying they're against grandparents, parents, and kids using the bathroom when they're at the park. So I don't know what their objections are going to be. I hear Ken, Ken's worked in the city, but if the argument is we don't want people to go to the bathroom in our park, then that's their stance they're going to fight me for. And then there's going to be 100 people over here against it, and there's going to be 100 people over here for it. And then we go from there. So,
I guess I'd like to speak in favor of it as one of the grandparents who's had this issue with 3 grandchildren in the park.
right.
So I think limited hours, daytime hours is a great idea, and worst comes to worst, you close it. But I think that the problems will be early in the morning and late at night. And if you eliminate those, I think you eliminate 90% of what Ken's afraid of.
And I agree, and that's why we were thinking of doing a key fob, different things. But if you're a village resident in the park and you have the key fob, you turn around, there's a non-resident behind you who's got to go to the bathroom. So you're going to tell that little 2-year-old kid he can't use the bathroom, the mother. So that's why, just having set hours with the cameras and with the security and signs, we'll see, so.
You said there would be a code officer?
Well, the code officer locks it up.
Opens it and locks it.
Yeah, but from 9 to 5,
Jordan, there's no one going to be.
it'll be a public unattended bathroom.
Yes.
With photos.
I don't think that's a good idea.
What is your concern, Ann?
Well,
Tell me, what is your concern?
do we want to see people coming, setting up picnics and, they don't do it now because they know there are no facilities.
There's enough people there for picnics and things now. And why would they come there instead of going to Garden Park where there's 2 and a brand new playground and stuff too? So, again, right now, I want to get it built, so we're getting it done for free. This argument sounds like it's going to be the March meeting, without be the discussion. So, and we put out the flyer, our next flyer with winter events and things. We'll list it as, one of our things, and I'll put down in the flyer that goes out that this is the meeting. If you want to come to discuss it, come to discuss it. So that way everybody could, do what they got to do and be ready to discuss it. All right? All right, so next thing on the agenda is approval of the treasurer's report and abstracts. Make a motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Before I open it up to the public, does anybody have anything they want to add?
I want to thank Bill for getting us an icebreaker. We didn't have an icebreaker, and as you can tell, the temperature's very cold, and it costs us about $1,000 to repin one of those poles. So we got to pay somebody $5,000, maybe a little more, to break up the ice so we don't lose any of our poles. I suggested to the rest of the board, we had a lot of people over the last couple of years put in additional poles, and I think we're going to have to revisit that, because if they do pop, now we're paying extra for those extra poles that are specific to one individual's boat. We don't charge them extra per foot for those extra poles. We make them pay for them to put it in, but if they do pop out, we're now on the hook to put them back. So we're going to have that conversation, but thank you, Bill, for finding somebody. I asked everybody I knew, I asked a bunch of people, and everybody came back and said no, they couldn't do it, so thank you, Bill.
Just have one more thing though too. Last year, I know Jennifer was involved in it. We had Save the Great South Bay. We had the oyster crates at Walker Beach. We had 10 crates. They did real well. They did a nice presentation here. Didn't say anything about that they were looking for a donation, and just before they started, they said, oh, by the way, we're looking for a $2,000 donation also from the village. So they want to use our property, store the stuff at our thing and all, but they wanted $2,000 from us. Well, we didn't give them $2,000 because it's not our job to donate to things like that. If they want to have a little fundraiser, fine. So this year, I got the initial letter, and I'm going to ask him to come to the mid-month meeting, but I just wanted to mention, it's a great cause, and we're happy to support. You know, they grow the oysters, and they put the oysters out there, and it helps clean the water. They want to put 20 cases this year, but they're asking for $2,000 a get. And I just think as residents, it's nice that we're helping them using our facility, using our storage, using our water, using our power. Jennifer volunteered with a bunch of people from Brightwaters. And then you want to check too.
And they raise, just so everyone's aware, I'm on their distribution, the email and all of that, and they're a really good organization, that they raise a lot of money specifically for the Great South Bay Oyster Project. So I think it is excessive to ask for financial donation in addition to use of the water and volunteers and all of that. I think it is, personally, I think it's a little excessive because they do raise a lot of money for that. Now they had, I think it was 6 oyster gardens last summer, and it did double the population of oysters that are now in the bay. It took it from approximately 600, I think they were either at 650,000 and they added another 600,000 or vice versa. I can't remember what the numbers were. So they're over 1 million. And it is a great project, and the oysters do amazing filtration work for the bay. But they are raising money for that project specifically, so I think it's a point of negotiation.
Yeah, I mean, if you want to have a nice little fundraiser or something, we're happy to sell some t-shirts. Yeah, they have them, but I still got the letter that we want to put 20 crates there because it's a great spot. It's protected. I know the Bayshore Yacht Club has them too, Ken. They have them there. I don't know if they pay them anything. They don't pay them anything, but they're asking us for $2,000. So if you put 20 crates at the Bayshore Yacht Club, you want money from us. I don't know.
I even tried to volunteer, went down to Walker Beach, there was nobody there, nobody knew what I was talking about.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
I mean, they were there.
It's on the side, Judy.
Excuse me?
It was on the side. The volunteers, they did run into the system they used to collect names for volunteers did fill up very quickly. So they just encouraged people just to come down. It was on Mondays.
I know, I went down.
On the side.
In the sailboat harbor. That's
Yeah,
where they were meeting.
on the side of the beach there.
Oh,
So again, I'm gonna, he might come to our mid-month meeting, but, you know, we're happy to support it. I think it's very important for the village to support something like that, and it's great for us, but don't try to squeeze us too, you know, so.
Get it from the fire department.
Where are they depositing these seeded oysters?
They have 4 reserve beds out in the, they don't tell you specifically where they are because they're trying to protect them from
Okay,
harm.
but so they're
You
being
go out
deposited
and-
someplace in the bay?
Yes, there are 4
Where
reefs out in the bay.
presumably the people that harvest oysters can harvest them?
No, they're
okay,
in
it's
protected
restricted.
areas. They're in restricted protected areas. If they are being harvested at all, they're being poached.
Yeah.
So.
Nobody does that.
This is not farming.
Nobody does that.
I didn't officially open it up to the public, but.
Sorry.
Like a open to the public, I have a second.
Sorry, John.
No, okay, go ahead, Mark, sorry. You want to say you're donating $2,000 to the Save the Great South Bay?
No, like a couple hundred.
Rich is
I'd
doing the
give them money too.
Yeah, so I'll talk to them, and if they want to organize something, fine. Is there anything else anybody needs to discuss? We know the bathroom is going to be a continued discussion, but I just want to get it now so that at least it's built and ready for camp and all in the future. So, all right, Judy, Sally's here. Judy does photos with Santa every year, and we keep giving her encouragement to come back every year, and I appreciate
I
that.
can't stop, I love it, I'm addicted to it. Ed keeps saying, when, Judy? Never.
No, thank you, and I even appreciate everybody
coming tonight, and Happy New Year to everyone. I make a motion to adjourn. Do I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Nicole, when do we have your working?
Tuesday.
After tomorrow.
So that's at the 20th?
It's the 20th.
King Days and 19th.
Yes.
What is that? So what-
Yeah, but,
No.
Tuesday, 20th?
My memory is that I remember.
They did that.
and then you put the